Hey guys, welcome to our review for The Nun 2. And it was a waste of time.
Yes.
Waste of my time.
A cloister fuck.
I thought it would be better, you know how when you get it wrong the first time, the Ouija board movie,
Yes.
and then they did it again, and I was like, oh shit, the prequel, that one's actually good, right?
And last Annabelle.
I think it was like the Ouija beginning or something like
yeah.
that.
It's better.
And it was better, so I thought, okay, maybe the same kind of thing here. Well, you fooled me once, fool me twice. Can't fool nobody.
Like a bad habit.
It gets fucking messed. I shouldn't have wasted my. I should have gone and seen Equalizer 3. If you want to go and see a film, I don't know if that one's good actually, but I know I would have rather. I know I would have rather probably watched Equalizer than this because this was that bad. You can, if you're looking for a horror movie, you can actually wait and see this horror on VOD.
Definitely wait.
If you're dying for horror, just wait. Or better horrors actually are Talk to Me and Cobweb. By far, two better horror films. If you haven't see those before Nun 2. Okay? Just saved you some money there. And I wish I would have reviewed those. Maybe I'll do a vlog on those in the future. But I essentially, I wish I hadn't wasted time. I should have played Starfield instead. I got a big, long review to get to, so I should have done that. Anyways, so basically, it's a retread of what we did in the past. I looked out, it's like... I don't remember shit from The Nun because it was so boring. It was just awful. And I saw that me and Alex reviewed it, just us two. And we're sitting in that old style. It was like 5-year-old review with really bad audio. I don't know. You were busy, Joe, or I don't know what was going on. But I could tell that, like, I guess I was excited. Maybe that was when Alex was first coming on or something, or in the beginnings. Because I gave it a 5 out of 10, and I remember that film being worse than a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
So I don't know what I was doing there. Maybe I was just there's somewhat happy, Joe. Now I'm a cynical, tired, angry old
waving
man.
your fist in the clouds.
It's like the fucking horrors. I'm sick and tired of this horror. So I have a higher bar for horror. And, and I'm tired of, sequels retreading. This is a part of the Conjuring universe, which has, 3 Conjuring films, 3 Annabelle films, 2 Nun films, as they're trying to do the or the CCU, I guess, Conjuring Connected Universe. They even have an after credits thing here, which is fucking pointless. Basically, this film is essentially the same film as the first film, with maybe some more visually appealing, scare moments, but none of them are scary. And the connective tissue in between all these different scare scenes is boring and middling and plotting and just not scary. And this is one of those horror films that have inconsistent powers. The demon will do some wild ass shit, and then they like to do like a little. Oh, Joe, that's just the demon liking to play with people. It's like, yeah, but when the demon is under threat of being destroyed, why is it still playing with people? You got to bring out your big powers, and it's just a stupid backstory given here to. The original Nun, and I'm talking about the good Nun. I'll separate them. You got the creepy Nun, which is the monster, which in the last film we learned was like Vivek or something, Vilek, which is a demon. And then you've got the good Nun, which is this younger lady. So basically, the younger lady gets a backstory. The Vivek demon Nun gets a objective. And we get this stupid St. Lucie subplot line that ultimately culminates in a final confrontation, just like we had in the first Nun, that is more bombastic than it is scary, and not even that not even that creative or bombastic. And then it ends. And then there's unrelated creepy clips at the end that mismatch the tone of the film. And I actually think the credit sequence was more scary than the film. Like, you know what I'm saying, Joe?
Yeah.
And I was like,
where's
this energy?
I'd rather see that for like 5 minutes.
So we're all like, wow, these credits. Good job. Like, I was happy when the movie was over. All right, so that was my opinion, and that's the Done. That's my complete opinion. Sorry, I went. Let's hear from one of you guys.
I did not like this at all. I hated it.
Joe, did you see the first one? Because
Yes,
remember,
I
the
did
last
see the first
review was
one.
me and Alex.
Yeah, I did see the first one because I was hoping it would be like pretty good because I like the character in the nun in The Conjuring.
Yeah,
But then,
it looks,
like, I was like,
she looks creepy, right?
yeah.
It was in the picture, and I was like, man, that picture don't look right. And then, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. But then they
So,
tried to do the
yeah.
spinoff, and it sucked balls.
I wanted to see like a cool backstory of what happened and whatnot. Hated it. Hated every aspect of it. That one was pretty
Valak.
shitty. This one, just as bad. I fucking hated it. Do not watch it. Put in the background. Don't go out and watch it. Everything was super tropey. I hated it was just jump scares. There's no tension, nothing but screaming little girls. Fucking annoying.
Everything
it was
was
annoying.
in the trailer.
Yeah,
Like all the moments that the film is like, scares, here's your payoff. It's like, but you showed me that in the trailer.
Yeah, so again, you need to watch it. And it's super cliche. It's like, oh, I have my partner here. He's lacking faith. It's like, oh, well, you better have faith when the time comes. It's like we've
that
seen
dialogue
this
was so
every
bad.
fucking time. I was rolling my
So
eyes.
bad.
I was
Did
honestly.
you hear me laugh out loud
Yes.
when they did that?
I was honestly trying to
We're
stay awake. I
we're
was like,
critics now,
can I get
boy.
another drink? I was like, I need another
You
drink.
did get a drink. Those drinks smelled good, Joe. What were they?
Yeah, Kentucky Mules.
Kentucky Mules. I had to
Pretty
try
good.
that.
Like ginger beer, lime, and whiskey.
Yeah, it smells good.
Good stuff. But no, didn't help the movie at all.
Didn't help. Okay. Alex.
No, nothing can help this. I mean, these movies are terrible, and this one's particularly bad. So I wanted it to be good because I really like the idea of demon possessions.
Same.
And Catholic Church and nuns and demons. That shit is good.
Everything about it, the whole situation is creepy, right? And it's just like, you know, and then they don't do anything with it, and it's just, it's bad. And I thought that it started off okay. Now, it's not good at all in the beginning, but they do some jump scares. You're like, okay, this is average horror stuff here. And then the movie starts to get worse. And I'm like, okay, well, this is one of those movies that, you know, starts okay and then just gets kind of bad. And then it gets worse beyond that, and then it gets even worse, and then it gets even worse. I was shocked how bad this movie gets in like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
This is like an offensively bad movie. There are times where we'll see a horror movie, I'm like, you shouldn't see it, it's not worth your money. This is beyond that. Like, you should...
I want you to talk about that in the spoilers because this is just middling for me. This is just, I don't know where it gets offensively bad. I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even, what are we going to talk about in spoilers that, you know, does all the same
So it's
nun shit.
possessed.
So the problem is, like, they invent a MacGuffin halfway through the movie. I mean...
Oh, yeah, that MacGuffin.
Yeah, they're like, hey, there's this thing that it kind of wants now, and then they don't explain anything about it, and then there's like the link to the main character to the MacGuffin, they don't explain anything about it, and there's all this other stuff. It's like, hey, that stuff's kind of interesting. It could have been done well if it had been done by like competent
It's
people.
like it's written on a napkin. They're like, we need a sequel idea. What do we do? Oh, I don't know. Christians are obsessed with relics, right? Let's just come up with some random relic.
Yeah, I mean, it works in bad. I mean, like John Carpenter's vampires, right? He needs the sacred cross to become like the vampire who can walk in the day. But they establish it pretty early, and you're like, okay, what's he gonna do with it? This is just like, hey, there's this thing. We don't know how it works. Sometimes in the good guy's hands, it's powerful. Sometimes it's off. We don't know. We're not gonna explain any of it. Then there's like additional bad guys that show up at the end of the movie that are terrible looking, and then just like, where did that come from? So like the movie just gets worse and worse. This is much worse than the original Nun, and I don't think you should watch it.
I agree.
This shit is real. St. Lucie, I feel bad because, you know, it's like, I guess I should know this because my family is Roman
Same
Catholic.
with
I don't
mine,
know.
but
It's Saint Lucia.
It's- you can be
It is
forgiven. The
Roman
people-
Catholic martyr who died during the Diocletianic persecution. And that painting, that shit's real. That was 1521, a high Renaissance recasting. So I think they just saw that and they were like, whoa, that's creepy. It's like, yeah, let's remember that. We'll just figure something out. Just jam it in. I don't give a fuck. Just find a way to do something with it. And then here comes 5 years later. Okay, we need an idea for the nun. Okay, let's just throw this in here. The demon is related to this or wants something here for no reason, and we don't know why. But I don't presume to know what the demon wants with a thing. That's the explanation in the film. It's a MacGuffin so that we can go from scene to scary scene for no reason. And unfortunately, none of it was scary.
No,
it
Phil.
was boring and pathetic. If you have not seen many horror films and you want a junky ass movie, I guess you might enjoy it, but I would be very disappointed with you. I would be like, you need to see better ones. Just everything, even Conjuring films, and
1 and 2, obviously.
yeah.
superior.
So yeah, and then recent ones, Talk to Me, Cobweb, stuff like that. So. Yeah, let's not waste too much time. Let's go ahead and go into the final verdicts.
The first one, since I didn't do that one,
Yeah, please.
that one's gonna be a 4. This one for me is a 3.
Yeah,
This is a 3.
it's actually worse.
It was
It's
worse in
interesting
every
because I
way.
think there was like more effort in the shots here. I guess the director is okay, like more is more. Let's do it. But if for some reason it's not. That, I mean, the first one, what were the scares? The first one was like there was a nun hanged, and then the priest got buried, and then it was a booga booga, and then at the end, I remember like they were in that like underground statue with blood
sometimes
and stuff.
it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, there's a gateway to hell down there. I was like, oh, that's a cool concept.
That's a cool concept, but
kinda
nothing's done with
failed.
it.
Yeah.
And then
like, we
here,
have the
they
vial of
actually
God.
do have some kind of creative things where there's like this creepy goat in a stained glass window that its eyes glow, and then this goat gets goated. And I think the goat is probably the most creative thing in there. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, like a goat, or a demon. It's not a goat, but it is a goat, and then it turns into a demon kind of thing. So, anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, 3 for me.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one, it's 2 or 3. It's probably a 3. It's not worth watching. It's not good.
Yeah, man.
Same.
I don't even know how I gave the first one a 5. I'm very disappointed with my past self. Maybe I'm misremembering it. I should have been way more harder on that. That the first one's probably like a fucking 2 or a 3, and this is a fucking 3. And if you think about it, grading on a curve or whatever, you should be getting better, and you're not getting better. Then you can make an argument that in some cases it might be worse.
I mean, this is a layup kind of movie. It is so easy to present creepy shit and have it do interesting things with it, and then they fucked it up.
So the director is different. The first film's director is Corin Hardy. Credits to him is The Nun, and before that, a independent film, The Hollow, and it looks.
Sounds familiar.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute, that looks familiar. Drenched in dark underneath. Yeah, so I think I've seen that on. I've seen that box art on Amazon. Now, The Nun 2 was directed by a different guy, Michael Chavez. Chavez.
Yeah.
And you've seen that box art, right?
Yeah. It looks
And
familiar.
then weird, but I don't think I've actually seen it. Michael Chavez, who did Oh No.
What do you mean? Oh no!
The Curse of La Llorona.
Oh no!
If you don't know,
Another
I don't know if I
not
said
a
this. My
good
cousin
one. Not
is
a good one.
My cousin is La Llorona, so I purposely didn't review it because it didn't.
We didn't
It
like
wasn't.
it.
It was a good film. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Didn't like it.
Not good. And then he went and did this one, which is going to be bad.
I don't know if there's.
Yeah. So I'm also going. Yeah, I'm a 3 out of 10. Not worth it. Let's go into the spoiler section. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So what is it, Alex?
The
What do you
nun
want,
has
Joe?
returned. Maurice Frenchie from the last one still is possessed.
Yeah.
So
Because at the end of the film, he saves the nun after they defeat the nun. The
yeah,
bad
she
nun.
goes back to Irene and saves her, but in doing so,
It goes
it
into
goes
his
into
body.
his body, and now he's in a boarding school in Paris, and the nun is
befriending this little girl. He's
Yeah.
like super creepy.
trying to get to his
with
mom,
this-
obviously.
Yeah, but they should have
Or
pushed
her
that
mom.
more because it's like even when he's talking with the mom, he's like looking at the girl in the fucking window. I'm like, all right, whatever. So, but yeah, so they're trying to do this little budding friendship and romance thing, but he's possessed.
So there's been a spur of killings or whatever throughout the West or
Throughout Europe. or
throughout
whatever.
Europe, and the nun is trying to look for this MacGuffin,
MacGuffin.
and she finds it in the boarding school. So
Yeah.
obviously, Maurice is there, like
We don't
being the
find out about the
gardener.
MacGuffin until an hour into this movie, though.
I checked my watch. It was 5 hours
did
and
that a lot, too.
44
I was
minutes.
like,
when
oh
I
my
look at
God.
my watch, that's when I know that I'm like,
It's
not
not a good
into
sign.
it.
It's never
not
a
a
good
good
sign.
I think it'll probably be a film that's 5 or below if I'm looking at my watch.
Yeah, so I guess like an hour in, we don't really know that he's possessed, but he's got little quirks. Was it like an hour in?
No, we find out he violently murders a child, and I was like, oh, are we going like we're gonna go like crazy because there's a delivery girl that shows
Yes.
up, and he's sitting there like making weird noises, like weird gurgling noises, and then he just does the fast moving thing and just like snaps her neck, and I thought it's
No,
like okay,
I think that was the demon that snapped her neck. The demon came out of him and then lunged at her because she was.
he's
Still
he's
possessed.
holding
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
holding her and he snaps, so it's like we know early that it's him and he's part of that he's like a puppet. But then that they kind of dropped off from there. They kind of lowered the violence and
Big time.
and the action. And this is a rated R movie. I was expecting more, to be honest.
Is this rated R?
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh. Doesn't seem like it.
They kill a
Okay.
little girl and there's blood everywhere. That's it.
Wasn't that much
That's why it's
blood.
rated R now.
Yeah.
This just sucks. Okay. Keep going. Somebody. I don't fucking care.
And then they find out that St. Lucy's eyes are buried here, and that's what he's looking for. And then they kind of do this hand wavy thing where they're like, he wants it, and we don't know why a demon wants it, but the demon could also be an angel. I don't know, but he could be an angel. We don't, and it's just like this guy's
this
making
is
sure.
why I got confused because I'm like, are they implying that this is Saint Lucy that fell? Hey, demons can fall to maybe it was
That's
an
what I was
angel
thinking
and
at
now it's
first
a
and
demon.
wants the
It's
eyes
like,
back
but
for
I
power.
forgot because the first movie's so forgettable that it's not. That's the Valak, the demon who was raised in dark ages by some fucking asshole.
Yeah. And so the movie just kind of goes on, and it just does a couple jump scares, and then the demon starts to have multiple copies of itself. So it makes itself a goat, simultaneously making itself a giant nun while possessing Maurice, makes 2 other versions of a nun. And it's like, if we had this ability to like clone yourself and be like 9 places all at fucking once and do all this shit, like what are we doing here?
Could have found the MacGuffin long ass
Well,
time
they
ago.
found the demon knows where the MacGuffin is,
Yeah.
sort of. They know they're digging for the MacGuffin, and then out of nowhere, the demon decides it's goat time and just plays upstairs
time.
with all the like little kids.
Yeah,
So when-
is that like a different demon? I'm hoping that's a different demon because you're fucking shit up.
Yeah.
The little girls use this little scare tactic because they're bullies and they don't like this younger girl and they're like, stand right here and oh look at the goat eye. When the sun hits it just right, it turns red. And that's just a story. They say it's a demon. But then it actually does turn into a demon. One time, she looks back and the goat's not there on the stained glass, and it's alive and it's coming.
but it's on the 4th floor and it's scaring little children instead of getting the ultimate relic that it needs to transcend and go back or do whatever the fuck it wants
that's a
to do.
different demon, Alex.
It just forgets. So it's like the person who's editing this movie is a moron, and it's just like, oh shit, this part has to go after the other thing because like the bad guy just simply forgot that it has to go get the MacGuffin.
Yeah, and that's honestly the only cool part is if I take this scene and I put it in any other movie that set it up a lot better, a fucking like goat demon devil,
Oh yeah,
hairy,
it'd be terrifying. Just
like
charging
charging at you through the darkness, and you can just kind of see him, but you can't see him. That shit was cool, but that's so I'm gonna
But
say
they
goat.
ruined it once again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's the Duke summoned the demon through a rift in the catacombs, but was killed by Christian knights who sealed the rift with a vial filled with the blood of Christ. However, the bombings during World War II reopened the rift, unleashing the entity. So that is the origin of the nun. Burke identifies the demon as Valak. Joe, do you remember what happens to Burke?
He dies.
Yeah. Okay. Father Burke dies, and then some other guy gets the credit, and he's a bishop or something. Because then they say then he got promoted to bishop.
What about that guy? He died of
Yeah, well,
cholera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess. Well,
guess
whatever.
But even though the girl did everything, it's just you can't. Yeah.
They can't give her credit because it's the Christian church, and the guy that shows up is like eating steak and being a complete asshole.
Go do it. It's like,
And
what?
he's like,
You
"Go
do it,
It's
asshole.
like, you fucking
So you do
It's
it.
like, the church needs you. It's like, man, if the church is such a whatever. It's so stupid. I hate it. And yeah, so
eventually they do the little the goat thing. They see it's marked there. They start digging. They find the eyes. They're like, you can use it as
turns
a weapon.
into Indiana Jones.
Yeah, she's like, oh, let's follow it.
The
I was like, just let go.
is actually pointing at the ground, and then just start digging there, and then they find the container with the eyes, and the eyes start glowing. Whoa! Well, they open it first, it doesn't glow, and then they close it.
Only when the little girl uses it does it start to glow. Not the person who is related to the saint.
No, the unrelated person.
The unrelated person gets to use it.
The priest in the library is like, you could use it as a weapon. I was like, what am I going to do with the eyes? Like, am I going to throw them at them?
No, they're probably powder.
Sorry, I'm too.
And it's like these relics.
It's like, how are you going to use it as a weapon?
Fuck up, man.
It's
You
like,
always just-
just that's it. Just show it to him. That's
yeah,
all you gotta
and
do.
that's how you stop the demon. Even though that's what he wants, and even though later on he grabs it and he can have it,
It becomes
but
a
if you
super
think
demon.
really hard, you can have it.
No, you
And
can't
then
because
I
I
was
was like,
like, I
okay,
can
you
have
can
it.
use it as power, kind of like a
But
cross.
if I trick you,
But they don't grab a cross. But it doesn't.
it
whatever.
doesn't make any sense. So finally, he gets it.
And he
So
just,
he falls down on the ground. He's like, "No, you're hurting me." As Maurice, the demon, stop putting it in front of my face. And then he falls. And he's like, "It's a fucking trick." And then
get it quick,
there's
get next.
And then he's a fucking trick. And then then he grabs the fucking thing. And then he floats up into the air. He turns into the nun, and then the nun absorbs it, I guess, and her eyes glow. And it's like, wait a minute, you've done the nun eye glowing thing already. Like from the very beginning, the nun's eyes glow exactly in that way. So how?
This
why?
one had slight yellow tint.
Yeah. Is that somehow
there you
related
go.
to the Saint
That was-
Lucy?
that's
Or
it. I
it's
just
oh,
fuck
it's
around.
it was
It's a yellow
it was
tint.
yellow 165.
Yes.
Now it's yellow
It's
167.
enhanced.
Okay, got it.
So now that the nun has a super weapon, she has all of the same powers that she's been using the entire time. She lifts up the good nun and lights her on fire, which she already did at the very beginning of this movie. So
But he
this,
does it slower.
she's only burning her slower because she actually is related to the saint that was fireproof.
Yes.
And you can't. She's flammable and inflammable. Or no, you can't light her on fire.
And they establish this thing. I don't remember my mother. And then later on in the film, I remember my mother. I was just lying.
Yeah.
And she got taken away because my dad thought she was crazy because she had these powers like I do, or these premonitions like I do. And then turns out that her connection to her mother inspires her, and the love of her mother puts out the fire.
Yeah.
Not the love of Jesus Christ or God or Mary or anything having to do with
descendant,
religion,
so,
No.
but just the love of your mother.
Yeah, and then now because it's Chekhov's wine transmutation. In the beginning of the movie, they're having
Yeah,
this
I knew
they're having
it.
this the discussion of, does the Jesus actually really turn into his flesh, or is it still just a cracker? And then they're like, no, it actually transmutes into his body, and the wine is definitely his blood because we believe, and it's only blood if you believe because Catholics are orcs or something. 40K. That's how orcs work. And then at the end of the movie, they're in a wine cellar, and then she's like,
Shocker.
she's like, pray with me. I'm going to turn all of those wine in there into the actual literal blood of Jesus Christ, because that makes sense.
God
and
damn
then,
it, Alex! I'm gonna get a phone call from my mom, and now she fucking hates your guts.
Oh, that's fine. If people who know the
God
least
damn
about
it.
the Catholicism is the Catholics, so it's totally fine. And then they go, aha, Jesus power, and then all the wine barrels explode, and it just like blasts the demon, and the demon's like, oh no,
Yeah, because
It's-
they consecrate, or they turn the body and then the blood, and so because in the first film the blood of Christ compelled him.
But it was the real blood of Christ in the first film. It was an actual vial. In every other time, you could have just like thought
They-
about it really hard and
they
hit him in the face with
It
a wine
was the
goblet.
blood of Christ because they believed, and then the blood of Christ slams into him, and then he burns,
yeah,
or he
but-
explodes. No, he melts.
No, she
He
melts.
melts,
She
yeah.
melts.
Yeah.
And
And
then the
then-
demon is burning and melting in the background. No, it is burning. Eventually,
Yeah.
it goes into flames. And while we have a moment of Maurice falling, and it appears as if his possession goes away.
Yeah.
She's the worst. She's the
And
worst.
she like tries to help him, and she's like unpossessing him. But then at the end, and then it just ends.
She's like, they turn around.
To the
That's
camera.
it.
I guess. Now Maurice, okay. To be serious,
Yeah.
Maurice and the little girl
Yeah,
and
they
the
all
mother,
walk
they
off.
walk off together.
Like,
Like,
"I'm
oh, they're gonna be
sorry, that
happy
wasn't
now. They're gonna
me."
be a couple. And then Maurice just walks right by. I'm like, motherfucker, I just saved your goddamn life.
He saved
But
her first, though.
Eventually,
They're even.
That's true.
They're even.
Eventually, he looks
1 for
back.
1.
That's true. And
The
then
only
she does one. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, but we don't check the back of his neck to see that he's still possessed because that's how the
Right,
Conjuring
but then
works.
it just ends.
Yeah.
And then we get the credits, which is creepier than the whole film. And then the credits stop, and then we get a phone call, and the Warrens are like, "Oh my God, their father, this and that wants you to do." So I get, and then if you know, what is it? The first.
Yes, the first Conjuring,
it's
where
him?
yes, because Caroline was the ones who moved into the house. They're like, hey, we need some help. So they go to the school and they see the Warrens. They're running the projector. It's like, hey, this is one of the cases. And in
So
that
you're
film,
telling me the Nun 2 ties directly into the start of the entire. Is that what they tried to do?
not necessarily. It's kind of another little story. Because whenever they're showing the film, they're showing the man possessed, which is Francis, and the wife of Warren touches him, and she gets this crazy look in her head and makes her go like crazy and depressed, and then locks herself in the room. She's like, she did this once, and that's another backstory. And
Okay, so they do
So she
link
kinda-
that.
yeah.
They soft link it. They say it's a side story that the Warrens dealt with.
yes,
So we're gonna get 4 more movies about Maurice doing
No.
horrible things.
No
all-
more, no more Nun. If there's a Nun 3, I'm
I
not
don't want
watching
a Nun
it.
3, but I wouldn't be opposed. Maybe they could fix it. I want to see the prequel, like the
wrong with
making
you?
of the Nun,
Okay,
or
yeah,
something like
fine.
that. Or-
I'm still,
that
I'll still
demon.
do prequel because you fucked up the Ouija board
Yeah.
movie, and then you did it again, and then the little fucking the thing I remember from it was the little wheelchair that flew into the fucking thing. I liked it, and it was creepy and it was scary. So they did a good job on that one,
Not on this one.
but not this one. So. Anyways, that's enough talking about the Nun 2. Forget about it. Wait till it goes on VOD. And even
Well, they're still
then, try to
doing
get it for
they're still
free.
doing more, right? Because aren't they? I heard
I have
rumors of
no
the
mo-
Crooked Man.
Yeah, I have right.
Oh,
I
these
have
things
no
make money for
thing
some
on
reason.
here.
They make so much money.
There's no word about a Nun 3, but they're trying their ass off to do a Conjuring universe. The Conjuring film.
Well, there's like 8 films. That's a universe already. Like
yeah.
the Conjuring universe has more movies
So
in
the
it
next
than
one
like
is called
DC
The
now.
Conjuring Last Rites, and it is to be announced. And that's pretty
7
much
out of 10.
What is
What?
it?
Nun
7 out of
2. IGN.
Are you joking?
They said it was a good film.
That makes
No,
sense.
I'm sorry, bro. No.
Can't
Just
spell
don't do
ignorant.
it.
Not IGN.
I remember Conjuring. The devil made me do it. It was
Devil
boring
Made-
as
yeah,
fuck.
it
You
was.
remember that?
Yeah.
That sucked too. I wonder where they gave that one. Joe, look that one up. So as I look up the next one, so in October 2022, a sequel to The Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It, was revealed to be in development. So that's what The Conjuring. So the sequel to one of the other bad ones, The Conjuring Last Rites.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's I'm sorry, Alex. Canceled the Crooked Man spinoff.
I didn't
But
like the way it looked.
In May 2017, Safran said that the Crooked Man character was being considered for a feature film, blah, 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 dee, doo, ba, doo, ba, reaffirming the intention for each, blah, blah, blah. In November 2022, Wan announced that outside of his control, the project was not moving forward at that time while expressing hope for a potential future release.
I did see The Crooked Man on Amazon. It was terrible. Don't watch it.
All righty.
There's no Ghost of Mars.
Well, that's it. All right. The first reference to
oh
Ghost
my
of
God,
Mars after
who
we
Well, we're
was
talking
it?
about hauntings and
I
possessions.
hate you. Film is awful. Okay. What, Joe?
Who was it? Because I saw it because of the stupid picture and the cast. Thought it was
Oh, Michael J. White's in it. Yes. Oh no.
Michael J. walks in who?
The Crooked Man.
The Crooked Man.
I saw it. I was like,
We're talking
maybe,
about other
but it
films
was
now.
bad. Yeah.
We wish we would have saw
Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse, but there's no showings anywhere in our area. I don't know if that thing's coming out. Did it come out? Give me theaters.
Selective.
Bring it out. All right. That's it. Avoid it until it's free
Yep.
or on VOD. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.